Hello everyone and welcome back to the NSB channel. In today's video is episode 2 as part of our mini series. Today's episode will be surrounding your billing profiles within NSB. But quickly before we jump into today's episode, if you want to check out the previous episode, which is episode 1, I would highly recommend you watch that and follow through. The link to that episode will be down below. But let's jump straight into the billing section within NSB for today's episode. As you guys can see, I am on the billing section within NSB and I have a bunch of my billing profiles here. So let's go ahead and break down what the idea of a billing profile is. Essentially what a billing profile is a profile that you go ahead and name that stores all the information that you would typically put during a checkout process. If I were to go ahead and check out and I am on a website, when it asks for my email, my passwords, my phone number, my address, all my card details, those are all the details that are going to be saved under a billing profile name. So within NSB we create billing profiles which can be used with our tasks to go ahead and check out these items. So let's go ahead and create a billing profile within NSB. You have to head over to the billing section and hit plus new billing. Before we do that, as you guys can see, I have a bunch of billing profiles here. Just some basic information that you're going to notice. It'll show your billing hashtag number, so the number of billing profiles this is in. So the fifth one will have 5 over there. Then the name of the profile, which we can't configure. Obviously the names for my profiles are there. The date created, the type, some information regarding it and some actions. All of these I will cover once we go ahead and create the billing profile. So let's hit plus new billing and the new billing profile box will pop up. So we have the shipping address section, the billing address section, the profile details where we configure our profile name, which is all the names over there. Our payment details where we can enter our card number, expiry, CVV, name on card, email address, and then we can configure the checkout limit for this billing profile. So let's go ahead and enter some information here. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to enter some test data just to go ahead and satisfy the billing profile creation process. However, for you guys, if you want to create a billing profile that you want to use, make sure all this information is correct and make sure you're double checking everything as you enter all the details into this box. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to say my first name is John, my last name is Doe, my country, I'm going to hit this arrow, it's going to pop up a drop down. I'm going to look for the United Kingdom, there it is. And then for my city, I'm going to call it Discord. My address 123 Test Road, my apartment / house number 123, my state can just be Discord because once again this is all test data. My zip code can be anything once again, then my phone number can also be anything. So I'll put some random numbers in there, and now we have the billing address that looks exactly the same to the shipping address. Now if you guys want to go ahead and utilize a different billing address to your shipping address, go ahead and fill out this accordingly. However, for the purpose of this video, I want it to be the same as my shipping address. So I'm going to hit this button, and as you guys can see, it's been grayed out, everything has been duplicated over. But let's move over to the profile details section where we can go ahead and configure the profile name. I'm going to call this NSB video profile, just like so, and this is the name that is going to appear over here. Then for payment details, you can go ahead and enter your card information. One thing to know, all these billing profiles are stored locally on your computer, so NSB won't have any hands with your profiles, so this is all completely safe. So let's go ahead and enter our information here. Once again, this is a test profile, so I'm going to put in some random information here. Give me one moment, and you'll notice as I'm entering the numbers, it's automatically putting a space there, so I don't actually have to do it myself. It will go ahead and formalize all my numbers by itself. Then for my expiry, let's go ahead and put in my expiry here, and you'll notice a very similar thing to our payment details. It's going to go ahead and formalize all the information very easily for us. If I do 0222, it puts the line over there for us. Then for my CVV, I can put anything because this is test data. Then for the name on card, I want to make sure it matches my shipping address. You want to make sure it does that. So I'm going to put a random name in there. And then for my email address, I can put anything here. So give me one moment to do that, and I filled out everything. And the final thing, which is a very important thing for your billing profile, is to configure your checkout limit. So when I hit this drop down, I have a bunch of options here. I have the no checkout limit, checkout only once, checkout once per site, and checkout once per item per site. So essentially when you're using this billing profile with your tasks on the task page, this is the checkout limit that is going to abide by when you're creating it. I'm going to hit no checkout limit for the purpose of this video. And when I hit the submit button, as you guys can see, it's gone ahead and created my billing profile. It is the 6th one on the list. It's called called NSB video profile, which we configured. The date created is July 17th 2020 at the time recording this video. The type is billing and the information is GB MasterCard based on what I typed in. Then I can go ahead and edit the profile by hitting this button. If I want to edit any information once I'm done, I can hit the submit button and it'll change that. So if I wanted to add a full stop to the profile details name, as you guys can see, it adds a full stop. I can delete it if I wish, or I can hit these three buttons to go ahead and clone it if I wish to do that as well. Now that we've gone ahead and configured the billing profile, I want to go through a few points that are very important, so please make sure to listen carefully. The first point is that to ensure that your details are completely correct before you start botting. So if you hit the edit button here and go back to our details, you need to double check everything. Double check your shipping address to make sure the items are going to the exact address and is going to your address so you receive it in hand. And when it comes to your payment details, the slightest number that is wrong will return a failed checkout, because NSB will only use the details you put in there. So let's say it goes through the process and the card's wrong, then obviously you won't be able to successfully check out. Now let's say all your details are completely correct and you're ready to use your billing profile with your task. There's actually another thing that you have to take into consideration. So the next 2 points I'm going to mention play into each other very well, but I'm going to begin with this point. For some websites that you go ahead and bot, they will only allow one order of one item per person. So essentially, let's say I go ahead and use all these details for a Supreme item on their website. Essentially, if I were to go ahead and check out that item again, it won't work. They only restrict it to one item per customer per address. So because I use Supreme in this case, let's say I had a brother that uses the exact same address configuration like so and goes through the checkout process, even with the different name, email and phone number and card details, it will go ahead and decline it based on the site's regulations. So a side note to this is to make sure you understand how the site's regulations work. So in my case, if I was botting Supreme and I didn't know that it's one order per customer per address, if I ran all these profiles, I'll only be able to get one item based on this configuration of my profile. However, some of you might be asking yourself, how can I go ahead and secure multiple items when it comes to sites that have tight regulations when it comes to your address? The answer is very simple. You do not need multiple places to send your items, so you can actually send multiples of these items to your same address, but it's going to include an idea that is called jigging. Now, jigging is a process where you take your address and you essentially alter it through abbreviation or any type of way to go ahead and trick the website into thinking that your original address and the jigged address is two completely different addresses. So it sends the item to both those addresses. However, both those items actually come to your house completely fine. So in my case, I live at 123 Test Road. If I wanted to jig this address, I could say that I live at 123 Test RD. RD is the abbreviation for road. So if I were to use this as a separate profile, it would work completely fine and two of those items would come to my same address. Even though 123 Test RD and 123 Test RAD is completely different. So going back to a point that I made during this discussion, it is very important to know how these sites regulations are when you're going ahead and botting them, just to know if you need to go ahead and jig your address or not. And the final thing I'm going to end this video on, if you've gone ahead and created your profile, all the details are 100% correct and you're waiting for a job, I would highly recommend testing your profile on that site. Now that could be by checking out a very cheap item on the website just to make sure the order goes through, because you don't want to come to the drop day and there's an error when you could have rectified it beforehand. And then once everything works, you can easily cancel the order, get your money back, and you're essentially made sure that your profile 100% works for absolutely free. That is going to conclude episode 2 of this mini series. In episode 3, we're going to move over to the proxy section within NSB and also touch upon servers. So I'm going to catch you guys in episode 3.